Hey guys, Cynthia from 7 Bloodfire here. Another vlog. I'm excited, but I sound stupid. Anyway, I just got done recording the first vlog that I was doing for today, and apparently I'm breaking them up because I got my little notebook and I have a lot to talk about. Apparently I wanted to just keep talking, but I figured I'd make it a 2-for-1. Do the vlog because my house is disgusting and I don't want to show it. So come to the park, knock out some exercise and walking and stuff because this fat girl don't move a lot. And just kind of tell you what's going on. So everything from college coming up to all kinds of other things. And sorry, I'm shivering a little and I just wiggled the camera. I hope that didn't make me dizzy. Anyway, just a little, little list of things that are going on. So first of all, my hair looks really stupid, but also very extremely cute. And yeah, it's a kind of a bow, but not. Anyway, I washed my hair earlier, took a shower, whatever, and I know it's like freezing out here, so it's not wise. At least it's like really windy. Got my hair wrapped up. I'm trying to get it to where it'll curl, and I'm probably gonna leave it like this for a couple of days while it dries out, because whenever you twist it tight like I did, I don't have those hair curler things. I just tied together some cloth and wrapped it around. So I tied them in the middle, wrapped it on one side, then twisted it until it curled into a bun, and then put the cloth over it, put a hair thing over it, flour, then did the same thing to the other side. It's really cute. But when I take it out, it should curl pretty well. Heatless curls, basically. But anyway, so let's see. I know I already told y'all about the coffee shop on the other vlog and the 3-day planathon thing that I'm wanting to do. I went ahead and brought my print-offs of the planner that I'm working on, because I got so far, like it's split up. It's frustrating me because there is the book part for planning, and then there's the part for the book where you're tracking, and then there's the workflows. Because I'm a full DIY indie author, like everything is done in-house, and I only delegate the very smallest amount. I'm struggling with getting it organized. Like, I already have all the workflows built, but like, where do I put it? Should I put the workflows for the book within the book planner? Will it bulk it out too much? Or should I have them on the sides so that I can just have mostly the plotting stuff so it's a little easier to see? It's getting me. And I had the series stuff in there too, but then I was like, well, I probably should break them apart, make them even more separate, especially because, you know, you'll have multiple books per series. And then I was like, well, crap, now you'll have multiple series and you need to see if there's a series viability, to see if, like, whatever other projects you got going on right now, if it would be even viable. So it has you look through kind of like how fast you write, how fast people edit, how much it's going to cost, word counts, all that. And then helps you to really kind of hone in on what all's going on right now, and if it's something you should shelve or come back to, you know, to come back to later, or if it's something you could do right now. So I was like, dang it. And I ended up breaking apart a lot of them. I ended up putting a lot of the checklist stuff for the workflows on their own, and then I've got like the sprint sheets. I did have those within the planner, and I was like, that needs to be a separate on the side so that you can print multiple pages of it and not have to print the whole planner. That would be easier. So I broke those apart, and my coat is wardrobe issues. Oh man, I am enjoying today's weather. I thought it was going to be just cold, but it's the sun's kind of warm. I love it. It's chilly when it's windy though. Anyway, but I went ahead and brought a couple copies of the one that I'm working on now. There's a new page in it that I did that was it's my pressure meter 4-act structure thing. I've got that, and I made the digital thing. I think I mentioned that on the other vlog, but yeah, I've got a lot, but I probably shouldn't have, but I went ahead and did it anyway. I went ahead and brought some of my bookmarks with me. They're in my little my husband's leg pouch that I'm wearing. It's like a hip purse looking thingy. Buckles around your leg and it buckles around your hip. We always go to the Renaissance Fair with those because then I don't have to have as much in my hands while I'm wearing around. But man, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to getting the planner done. And I've been trying to do the focus on it, and it's just been driving me nuts. Driving me nuts. Oh goodness. Alright, what else do I gotta talk about? I know I had a lot. See, doctor vlogs and info dumping. Oh yeah. I've been watching some vlogs by other people that are wanting to go through to anesthesiology path. And one of them, man, I got on there, and every time I tried to comment on that or anything else, I just overshare like an MF. Like, what the heck? I'm a trauma dumper. It's annoying. Like, I get embarrassed after, but in the moment I'm just thinking, and like, you know, I just say what's on my mind. I'm pretty blunt and oversharing, and I overdo literally everything. So it's not a healthy way to live. But now I have ADHD like really bad, so the serotonin and dopamine is a constant struggle. I can't start stuff and I can't stop stuff, so there's almost no between. Once I do get over the hump of trying to start something, I'll stay at it until my back is killing me and I can't hardly move, and by the time I stop, it's gasping out of agony or whatever. But yeah, no, I was on there, and it's nice and it's inspiring because I really want to be an anesthesiologist. Like, I've been working toward trying to get the savings ready for college over the last couple of years. 7 minutes? Okay, sorry, I had to check. About to have to cut this one off and do the next clip. Anyway, I've been wanting to do the anesthesiology path for a while. And the whole thing was I needed to pay off my house first, because when I was a kid, we went through homelessness. Like, we were close to completely on the street. Like, we didn't have a home anymore after my dad went to prison. And I mean, it sucked. My mom did everything she could to take care of us, but she was having trouble working and was sick, and we ended up in a homeless shelter. And there was some pervs in that homeless shelter, and she was scared for us, and kept running those people off to keep them away from us. But man, she ended up inheriting another family member's house and was able to live there with us, but we were still struggling with the electricity and food. Like, there were other family members that would bring us food, but even then, like, it was food stamps and like barely surviving. She wasn't dating anybody, so she wasn't that kind of mom. She just did her best, and it wasn't enough, unfortunately. So, you know, foster care, that whole thing, and then everything that happened after that. That didn't end well. But yeah, no, most of my PTSD and stuff is from after I got adopted. It was really crappy. But I know that I never ever wanted to risk ending up in homelessness again, because I know people like close within the family that have gone through it multiple times since then, and like every day of their life is a struggle. And sorry, I have to adjust this. I'm tired of holding it like that. But yeah, no, I'm like, I don't ever want to go through that again. And then I want to try, because I'm so interested in the field of anesthesiology, like, I don't want to get too much into it because it's not, all of it's not my stories to share. But I've seen a lot, and I've been through a lot, and I want to change my life, make a safe future for us, and do what I've been working toward. So, like, I put myself through hell for, what, 6 years total? between following my passion and building my business and teaching myself everything for the writing and stuff from the ground up. So the copy editing, developmental writing, I think I did that years ago, but copy editing I self-taught, the accounting stuff I self-taught, built my own program because I didn't want to afford to spend $300 a year for QuickBooks when I've already got other programs like $1,000 a year that I pay for. I'm an artist as well, so I save money there, but like I know eventually I'm going to want to delegate, but man, I'm telling you, that was a lot. And balancing trying to pay off the house, working anywhere from 62 to 91 hours a week, 7 days straight for a good, month at a time, if not longer, for about, it was 2 years that I left, and then 2 years again, like 2.5 each time. And then it took its toll, but we did pay off the house 19 years early. And the next step was to save about $300,000 roughly to try to make sure that I could go to college, because I think it was back in 2019 when I realized, I want to be a CRNA or an anesthesiologist because that field is like fascinating, and like all of the pain that has been in my family that tore my family apart. Some of it started with medicine, and I want to be a doctor that can help prevent that and help others, heal. I want to heal pain. And then like after my mother-in-law's heart issues, like I'm mortified because our house is in such bad condition. Even though it's paid off, I was trying to get to where, I could spend a little bit of that money to fix the roof and hire someone to help us to get it, cleaned up or whatever. It was rough. I ended up having to leave the job that I was working in. Had huge PTSD flare-ups and was bedridden for like 3 months, and then couldn't find, wasn't ready to work for about a year after because I was getting mental help and all that. And still have some breakdowns, but mostly good. But with her, right around the time that I was almost able to pay off the house was around the time that I had to leave work and was struggling with the urge to, the will to live. And around that time she started having heart issues, had to have a couple heart surgeries, put stents in, and then the roof, the ceiling collapsed over her bed like not even 4 days, 3 or 4 days after she had her little heart surgery thingy. And like it made me feel horrible, and she had to move out of that room and into my office, which is why I don't have my office anymore. Like her stuff is still in there, but like it rains from the ceiling in her room, and I hate that. I hate that because it makes me feel like a really horrible person, because like it's my house and I should be able to take care of her because she doesn't have her own house. She can't afford it because of all the medical bills, and like it's not okay. So I'm like, I've got to do something to change everything, and I can't handle the job that I was in anymore because I've just got too many things, too many hairline cracks and stuff. Like I can work hard. I work like a horse when I do, but I mean, it was so bad I ended up gaining 80 pounds, 100 pounds, because I was eating through all of the trauma and the recurrent, episodes and everything else, and I wasn't active anymore, and my health went downhill bad when I broke. And like what she had to go through and is still having to go through, like, not okay. It's hard, and I want to make sure that I can be in a place financially where I can take care of her, make sure our house is, we get a better house or get this one fixed or whatever. But that plan was for the 300 grand savings that went out the window, and I was like, well, I'll never be able to work in that again. I've been trying to get hired on. It hasn't been really good luck. I had one job for a month and I couldn't handle it because it was working in insurance, and just learning about all that broke my heart because of finding out how often people get turned down for the insurance and why. And like, that was a lot. That was hard. So I ended up having to leave because, you know, I was still having appointments and they were interfering and you can only miss so many hours, and I was like, crap. So I was like, you know what? I'm at a point now where I can't go back to the job that I had. I'm having trouble finding anything that would even be worth it. I know my husband can make enough because he's working little $15 an hour job. It's barely enough with maybe $100 left over every month. Barely enough to pay our bills, and taxes are coming up soon. So we're gonna at least have maybe $1,000 from that, maybe two if we're lucky. But all the savings that we had is gone because I had to live off of that for a whole year and a half where I found a job, and then right after that, losing that job. I mean, it was insane. And like, I'm so ready to get back to work, but I don't want to be working really hard and not be working toward a future. Like, $600 a month for 20 years, that's not a retirement. That's not enough to be able to make sure that I can care for my mother-in-law. That's not enough to take care of everything and make sure that we're healthy and the things that I need for my business. And like, it's not enough. Like, anything happens to our truck, we're going to be walking. Our electricity, well, 2 months out of the year, it's $600 a month just to run the heating to make it normal prices. That's $1,200. We don't have the money for that. I mean, like, I've been keeping the house really, really cold, you know, wintertime. I've got an electric blanket. If I need to warm up, I just sit in bed and keep that on and work on my stuff and keep trying to find jobs. And man, but I was like, you know what? I'm done with all that, and I need to go ahead. It's now or never. Like, I looked into all the scholarships and all the costs and stuff for going for the 4 years of college and then the 4 years for medical school, and I was like, $350,000 total if that was the maximum, and you know, just going by taking student loans, not including scholarships or anything. And I know that like the little bit of college that I have helps, but not really. And my 25 score on my ACT, that don't do crap anymore. You got to make a 31 or higher on your ACT to even have a chance at getting any kind of really good loans or whatever. And I was like, well, I mean, with the 43 college credits that I do have and being in Phi Theta Kappa, maybe that'll help. And I looked at that, and yeah, I can get $6,000 split between 4 years. And I'm like, crap. So I'm looking at the fields for what I want to do, and the first step would be nursing, because it'll help with my clinical hours as well as, you know, I'm interested in it, and like, I mean, all around benefits. That one would be feasible as a job after I graduate while I'm trying to get into medical school, because it's not a guarantee that I'd be accepted right away, and I'm gonna need to make sure that I have something that's going to pay well enough to pay off $150,000 in student loans. So, like, I know with the Pell Grant, because we make, mine and Tommy's combined income for last year was maybe $20,000. No, it was $15,000. For this year, it's even less. So, I mean, 2023, our total income, $15,000 and like $78. So we qualify as poverty level, and I can only see our life getting worse in every way because I'm not making enough money and everything keeps going up. And we're lucky that we don't even have a car payment or a house payment anymore. We paid it off 2 years ago, but with the house, and before that the truck was already paid off. But like, how much longer is the truck gonna last? We got the truck in 2011 and it was a 2010 model, and we've had it ever since. Luckily my husband takes care of it, but like, looking at financials, it's really scary and it's not looking good. And I'm one who looks toward the future, which is contributes to my anxiety disorder. Oh my god, it sucks. But every day. Yeah, I see the big picture, and I can't stop seeing the big picture on all the ways it can go right, all the ways it can go wrong. Like, how do I redo the math, and how do I redo this path, and how do I fix this and fix that? And like, my body can't handle like trying to fix my own roof anymore, and I'm like, man. But like, some of the doctor vlogs that I have followed, they have talked about how hard it is and the hours and everything else, and like, it scares me. But then I remember I was working 90 hours a week. Like, usually it'd be about 61 to 70, but half the time it would be 90 hours a week. And on top of that, be going home, not sleeping much. I might get 4 hours at max of sleep, working on the business and the book and everything else that I was working on before I published The Violet Curse. I mean, I've always overworked and never stopped. And the hardest part about the corrections thing was you're going up and down 48 flights of stairs every single day with extreme temperatures, in the cold or in the hot, often 105 at times, with the AC not working. I saw people have to go to the hospital with heat exhaustion and heat stroke. My husband had to go to the hospital multiple times from heat exhaustion or because of other things that caused him to have injury. And like, I can't tell you, like, I'm gonna end up having to put like the roundabout of like the essence of all of that into the book I'm gonna write, the fiction work, of course. But yeah, like, everything else that I already wrote and everything else I've already built out, like, I'm kind of maxed out. There's not much I can do. I'm just working on the planners first because I need to be able to get into that. But with like life, the writing and the planners and all that stuff almost is more of a hobby than a business, because I don't make any money at all, hardly at all, on it. Like, I've got an event coming up on February 8th, but the last two events I invested, I think, like 100 on one and 50 on the other, something like that, and I made a profit of $76. And then on the other one, I made negative 13 or 16 or something like that, and that was no fun. But it was a fun event. I'm just saying, like, monetarily, it was no fun. Got another one coming up, and it's like everything I do is like everything's breaking around me that I work so hard for, and all the things that I put together or built or paid for, it's like it's all crumbling through my fingers, and I'm standing there watching it, spending all these hours on it, and everything's just falling apart. And I'm like, long term, it's not feasible for our future. I also want to become a doctor, anesthesiologist specifically, because of personal reasons that are outside of, you know, my hobby passion. I really want to do it for the financial and for helping people in a way that, you know, I don't want to do the psychology path or, you know, help people that way. I already write to be able to take care of those other ones, to be able to reach people and entertain them, but also tell deep stories and have inner truths and stuff in the stories. But I want to actually have a hand in changing people's lives, starting from, you know, their surgeries or whatever. Pain is a very, very constant theme in my life, and that's what I want to affect medically, is help people with pain. So with my mother-in-law's heart stuff and the other stuff that, you know, I've had going on or been around or had affect me, I was like, you know, maybe even cardiac anesthesiology, cardiothoracic, something to do with heart and pain. It's personal, you know. Everybody that goes into medicine has different reasons for why they want to. And like in corrections, I already was around a lot of that because we would be the first ones on the scene. I mean, heck, we had a person that had their legs slashed open, and we were over there applying tourniquets and stuff. Like, there'd be times we'd try to resuscitate them come across them, they'd be perished. A little bit of that gives you hunger for trying to make a difference, but I didn't want to do it from there because those are people already, their life's pretty much ended. And I'd rather affect people outside of that situation so that they would never get to that situation. But from a medical standpoint, you know, something a lot safer, just because I know I can't handle it anymore. But I do know I can handle the workload and the extremes and everything else. It's just, I want to do something that I want to do instead of just because I need the money. And that's what it was I needed the money, but I also wanted to learn more about people and be able to become a better writer for it. So like, love that I worked in it, but also it broke me. Oh man. But yeah, no. Anytime you have a field that you want to go into, or if you're trying to work for money or whatever, you're gonna have to make some serious considerations and really, really carefully consider how it's going to affect you, the long-term aspect of it, the short-term aspect of it, like how you're going to affect other people, and ultimately your mental health, because when you break hard. So there we go, next one. Oh, it's so sad that I had to keep starting and stopping clips because I can't edit it on my computer. Anyway, looking over the list of stuff that I gotta cover for the vlog is positive mindset promises. So I know that anytime you want to start something new, like new habits or whatever, you have to start small. Like, okay, I don't wash dishes every day, but maybe if I at least wash my plate and my spoon when I'm done eating it, or make some sort of a change around my house that ends up enabling me to remember to do it first of all, but also get comfortable with it. So there's like the long length of time that you're wanting to build that habit, and you could do several different small things at a time, so it's not just one thing that's big and overwhelming, or that way it's not just several things that are big and overwhelming or whatever, but like 1 to 5 small things is great. Almost perfect. One is usually, a lot of people would be frustrated because it's only one tiny change, but like I said, I pick certain days for certain things and assign that day a different theme or something that I gotta change. So as far as positive mindset changes, I know a big part of my mental health crisis that I had after I left the whole thing of having been bedridden, because it was either that or, you know, end everything. The first step on that was working on something that was mind-numbing, because I'm not big on taking medicine because I forget, and when I forget it makes me sick. And like, yes, get help, but also if you're someone that forgets, like set a routine or figure out a way, or like make sure it's medicine that's not gonna make you sick if you miss a dose. But my first step on recovering was between getting help and medication, but also on like focusing on mind-numbing tasks so I wouldn't be a danger to myself. And I was working on JavaScript and the website build and some other stuff, and that lasted for about 3 months before I started getting to where it wasn't as strong. And then slowly I got to where I was able to handle a little bit more and a little bit more, and like now I'm trying to get, like, my whole life fell apart, so even my house became really bad. So I'm trying to get like a lot of my habits and stuff built back up, and I really want to try to work on my mindset now, because I noticed that when looking over my life, all the things that I went through during my childhood, like from age, what was it, roughly 9, right before 10, all the way up until I was around 18, all the things that happened from there, I mean, there was a lot of really bad things that happened. When I got past that stage and had changed where I was living, and the people around me were different, and all of that, the main reason that I wasn't so broken, even though a lot of that was worse than in many ways, that I had a different mindset. Everything was new, and I was young, and I was like, I want to go to college, and I want to do this, and oh my god, I can have bananas and raisin and Pop-Tarts, and that would make me cry when people would just buy me like a bag of Raisin Bran. I cried. Like bananas, I would happy tears and be like, oh my god, like little tiny things. A lot of people have never lived through that, where there's just like small things are the most beautiful blessings in the world. Like living with a gratitude mindset, and a life is open to me, and everything is new and wonderful, and I can finally be me, and I can finally go after things I love. And like, that was the main reason why so much of what I went through did not completely destroy me. I mean, like, yeah, I went through a lot, and there again, the whole will to live, there was a couple of incidents that I wouldn't have been here anymore. But no, I was able to heal from most of that between the people that were around me and have been around me, and then, you know, that mindset has everything to do with healing. Whenever I started working, that went away, because I started self-loathing. I started becoming the voice that some of my people around me, back when I was in that family, I started being the voice that was destroying me. I hated myself. I hated how I looked. I hated that I had been working on the same, roughly, I mean, since I had to scrap everything, the same story for 17 years, and I had never gotten anywhere in my life. And I started seeing that the comment that would be thrown at me of, you will never be a writer, you will never be an artist, do you think you're too good to work regular and be a normal person? I started having all that stuff going through my head and tearing me apart from the inside out, and just feeling like I was worth nothing. And when that negativity started setting in, that was the first part of the mental health stuff. And then with everything else, like, I still wanted to work, and then I started getting sick. The whole pituitary cancer possibility thing, like, I was having a lot of headaches, like really nauseous, and I was good at hiding it, because I'd work like the guys and just go until I had, even beyond, after having tripods of blisters wrapped around my toes that I had to put my feet in ice buckets to try to get the pain to stop, to having 50-cent sized blisters on the sides of my heels from walking so many stairs, to the point where my knees felt like they were about to fall apart. I'd be walking so much I couldn't even feel my it would just be solid pain, which I talked to a nurse, and she's like, it's possibly diabetes related. I was like, well, I don't have diabetes, but I have a hypoglycemia. She's like, well, they call that necrotic nerve damage. And I was like, because it goes numb and I can't hardly move my feet the more I walk. But I was like, yeah, I don't know, but I kept getting sicker and sicker, and I didn't know why. And I kept eating, because like, it was like every time I ate, for a while, it was like every time I ate more, it would make me feel a little bit better for a while, because, you know, blood sugar. And I was slowly gaining more weight, and then I wasn't as active, because I ended up like in inactive positions a lot, and I would still eat the same but not move around, and I gained more. And it just got really bad, to the point where even the food wasn't helping with that. And I finally set up an appointment to go to my doctor and talk to her, and she was like, told her kind of, you know, the family history and the blood sugar and the diabetes and the other things. And she said, you know, there's a possibility it could be related to something going on up here, like your pituitary or something. She had already looked at the blood tests and said that it indicated there were several things that were off. And I don't remember, like prolactin was one of them, overproducing on that. And then I don't remember what the other stuff was, but that was one of the main ones I do remember. There's like 5 different things that were really off that was like kind of a sign. And she said, I want to do a scan on you and see what's going on. So we did a CAT scan, And it turns out that my pituitary gland was enlarged, and she wasn't sure, but I mean, there's possibility that it could be this or that or this or that, or pituitary cancer. And you know, your pituitary gland is your master gland. It is responsible for, well, maybe not responsible, but affects, like a domino effect, a lot of your other hormones. Like different parts of your brain and different parts of your body will produce different hormones based on the domino effect, or stressors, or, you know, environmental factors, or even what you eat, or how much you sleep, or how little. And everything affects everything, but that's like the motherboard, like the starting point. And like, I would go where I would eat a lot, and then I wouldn't be hungry for days, and then I would oversleep, and then I would barely be lucky. I'd be lucky if I got 30 minutes of sleep within 3 days. And then, like, it was all over the place. And then the migraines and the dizziness and the nausea and everything else. And she said it's a possibility, but like, that looks like what's going on, and it's what's affecting you. So we'll do some. I was like, well, I don't want to have a biopsy or whatever, so I don't want to go into like having people drill into my skull. And you know, we were laughing and talking during that, but I was like, it's good to know, because then I can watch out for it. And it didn't affect me until like a month later, that's when it really hit me. It's like a month later. But yeah, I don't want to go too much more into that. It was a lot. It was basically like everything I've ever overcome in my life. I had healed from everything. I was a whole person. Yeah, sure, work was hard. And, you know, at least I was still working towards something. But then it was like, you've worked for all that for nothing. And now the universe doesn't want you, and it's trying to make your life end. And I was like, I didn't feel okay. It hit me hard. And then things only got worse from there, so. But I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, positive mindset promises. Whenever I started having things happening at work that was right around all the time for all of that, I ended up having to, I had to like make major changes in my life. And the main reason why I wasn't handling it was because I started to get bitter. I started hating myself and everything else. And once you start hating yourself and having that negative feedback loop within yourself as well as around you, harm becomes even more harmful, and healing becomes almost out of reach. So it's been a slow and long and like drawn out process of trying to rewire my brain, and I've improved a lot, but long process. And I want to work on positive mindset promises to myself, so that every day is an opportunity to change my language, change my life. That's something I completely and wholeheartedly agree in, because I've seen it evidenced in my own life and others. A lot of people who are really bitter often blame other people for their stuff, and it's everybody else's fault in some way or another. And like, even my husband, like, he's a narcissist, like in certain ways. Like, it's not even narcissism so much as it is paranoia and hurt and fear of a pattern. And I was seeing pattern everywhere, like, it's only gonna happen again, and like doom's thinking, and that's not okay. So I am going to be doing positive language. So subscribe to my channel. If you ever want to help me out in some way, you can always buy something off of my website, simplifire.com, whatever, or get my book on Amazon. It's The Violet Curse by Senna Crow. But you guys have an awesome day.